Hello again. I have been leafing idly through the manifesto on which the Labour Party fought the general election in July, and I can find no mention of either euthanasia or assisted dying. I'm not surprised because this is a highly controversial subject, and while it might win some votes, it would certainly lose others, as well as perhaps drawing condemnation from church leaders and the spokesmen of other religions. Neither the Tories nor Labour said anything at all about it before the election. It is therefore something of a surprise to find that there is going to be a parliamentary debate on this topic, followed by a vote. Few people could have predicted that. It seems that Keir Starmer bumped into an elderly television presenter before polling day on July the 4th and casually promised her that if he got in, he would expedite euthanasia in this country. This is, to say the least of it, an unconventional way to approach such a serious matter with such far-reaching implications. For Keir Starmer, promising time for a parliamentary debate to somebody he bumped into the park seems the most natural thing in the world. Of course, coming so soon after the abolition of the winter fuel allowance for old people, this has inevitably caused some grim jokes about the government's intention to eliminate a few nutslows airser or useless eaters in this country, namely the old folk. For my own part, I am very cautious about the idea of euthanasia or assisted dying for two excellent reasons. The first is that I remember vividly when abortion was legalized in this country back in the 1960s. We were assured that it would be a very, very limited procedure, only undertaken in certain extreme circumstances, for example, to save the life of a pregnant woman, or one of the examples bandied around at the time was about, say, a 13 or 14-year-old girl who had been brutally raped. Would we want to force that poor child to carry the rapist's baby to term? Of course not. So we must allow abortion in at least some cases. 55 years later, and there are women who simply use abortion as a form of birth control. Babies are routinely aborted if a scan shows they have, for example, webbed fingers or syndactyly. 200,000 abortions are performed every year in England and Wales. There's every reason to suppose that if once we start legalizing assisted dying, that the numbers will soar in exactly the same way. The other reason I'm not keen on the whole business is, of course, because in the Third Reich, euthanasia started in a very slow and easy way, with those who were incurably disabled and had zero quality of life. The department which oversaw this scheme was known as Tiergartenstrasse, because it was based in the Berlin Street Tiergartenstrasse. From those for whom assisted dying was perhaps genuinely a mercy, the process was soon expanded to the mentally ill, and then those in institutions, for example, like orphanages, who wet the bed or asked too many questions or were a bit of a nuisance. Euthanasia, like abortion, can get to be a very bad habit. I think that before Parliament debates such an important topic and votes on it, we need to know exactly what is being proposed. Embarking down this road simply because the Prime Minister was fond of the television programme That's Life as a young man and wishes to do the presenter of the show a favour really isn't a good and sufficient reason for something like this, which has such terrifying implications for the country in the future.